advice from the wise to anyone that are currently involved within spirit box sessions and communicating with the dead and all of these things. When communicating with the afterlife, make sure that you have the King James Bible at hand, because I can guarantee any of you watching this video now, not everyone you come into contact with within the afterlife are actually in fact who they claim to be. A lot of them are actually in fact fallen angels, disguising themselves as said people that so happen to physically pass away for whatever reason, whether it be natural causes, murder, or suicide. And this is why we have the mess that we have involving human psychology, because what people fail to understand and take into consideration, especially those that are currently communicating with the dead, they are bringing back unseen forces from the grave and from the afterlife itself into their homes, into their lives, but most importantly into their hearts and minds. And this is why a lot of people are either spiraling into dysfunction, or worse off, spiraling into spiritual and psychological deaths. It's the same with the gospel. Use spiritual discernment when it comes down to enforcing the gospel, when communicating with the afterlife and any particular said member that you're trying to communicate with. And why do I say use spiritual discernment? Well, that's because even the devil comes masquerading within light, attempting to deceive those that are currently trying to reconcile their relationships with God through his Son, Jesus Christ, via the Holy Spirit. And even the devil knows the Bible pretty much from the front cover to the back of the cover. He knows every word of the gospel. Hence why we have so many manipulated, perverted, and cherry-picked versions of the gospel word that have so happened to deceive many people into man-made, religious, denominational cult practices. And to the truth seekers out there, you're not going to find God within man-made religion. Let me tell you that much right now. If anything, God despises man-made religion, because it's man-made religion that causes nothing but division and strife, along with persecution and murder, whether it be spiritual, psychological, or physical. And this is why you will never find God within man-made religion. You will, however, find him in here and in here, via, case in point, the Holy Spirit, that so happens to be omnipresent. And there we have it. So to those of you, like I said, that are getting involved within communicating after the dead, along with communicating with others from the afterlife, be sure to use the King James Bible and be sure to use spiritual discernment when welcoming anything through, because you don't know who you're welcoming through or what it is that you've welcomed through. And even the devil, like I said, can tell sugar-coated lies. Try that again. No, that was it. Sugar-coated lies disguised as truths. What's that saying? He tells one lie, I think it is. No, he tells 9 lies. Or something along those lines, and 1 truth maybe. Or 8 lies and 2 truths. The lies being sugar-coated lies, even disguised as truths. You know, it is what it is, so just pay attention, man. And like I said, don't even laugh it off. Don't even, you know, treat it like it's you know, something to laugh and joke about, because it's not. Trust me, you don't even know, like I said, who you're letting through your front door, who you're welcoming in here and in here, when allowing deceased members from either the grave or the afterlife into your life. You don't know exactly whether it's them or not. You don't know if it's their soul or whether or not it's demonic activity, because even demonic influences can disguise themselves as loved ones, like I said. They can tell you all the sweet words that you've always wanted to hear, right? And make it really, really convincing that you're talking to someone that you so happen to have a connection with somehow, right? And it turns out that the connection you had with either said person that's coming on through or demonic influence is nothing more than a soul tie. And I would consider, technically speaking, communicating with the dead as nothing more than witchcraft itself. Because like I said, you're not always welcoming the souls of deceased loved ones. You're also welcoming demonic activity, satanic activity, that within turn will only try to corrupt your mind, corrupt your heart, and fill you with unclean spirits, thus ultimately leading to the possession of one's flesh and a complete severed relationship from God himself. So I would be extremely careful, like I said, to any of you that are following this path. Extremely careful. As though your souls depend on it, because they truly do. This isn't even a laughing matter. You can laugh and joke about it all you want. I'm not. Because it's not to be laughed and joked about. We are within a spiritual warfare between good and evil. And like I said, people don't even know who or what they're welcoming into their life by either communicating with what could potentially be the souls of deceased loved ones, or it could well be, in fact, nothing more than a demonic influence infiltrating said soul of loved one, telling, you know, these people all of the sweet words and all of this, even matching the tone of voice as said loved ones to convince them that they're actually communicating with the soul of said, you know, deceased loved one, while the whole time it was nothing more than a satanic hoax. It was demonic activity. Now, do I believe souls within today's atmospheric presence exist outside of the physical vessel itself? Absolutely. You could bet your bottom dollar on it. I do. Hence why we can control our own dreams on occasion, who we see within our dreams, who we communicate within our dreams, and who we spend time with within our dreams. Just like we could control our own thoughts, as well as rebel against any said unfruitful thought that comes to mind, which in turn will result to the confliction of one's conscience, attempting to sway you from your faith. So take heed, people. I'm not even joking. You can laugh and joke. You can even scoff and make a mockery of this video all you want. But you're not going to be laughing and joking, scoffing and making a mockery of this video when you begin to see the truth for what it really is by welcoming, and he said, unwelcomed spiritual visitors from either the grave or the afterlife. Because I can guarantee you they're not always the souls of who you think you're trying to communicate with. They are nothing more than demonic influence. And this is why people need to be cautious, vigilant, and extremely careful when dabbling into this work, as you will. Now, assuming, of course, you have the Holy Spirit within your life, you're abiding by the gospel word, you're following the 10 commandments, judgments and statutes, and you're continuously and effortlessly reconciling your relationship with God through his Son, Jesus Christ, via the Holy Spirit, you will have not only all of the spiritual tools you need in order to protect one's peace of heart, mind and soul, rather you will have all of the spiritual tools to guide you into making healthier connections with, case in point, what could, not necessarily is, but could be the soul of a loved one trying to get through. Is that always the case? No. Because like I said, even the devil can mimic loved ones, mimic their tone of voice as though they were alive, portray said loved one down to perfection to actually deceive those that are currently trying to communicate with either said soul from the grave or demonic influence from the afterlife. And these empty meat suits are nothing more, like I said, than demonic influences. They are earthbound, a lot of them. They are trapped within the very subconscious minds of both man and woman. And this is why we have, as well as see, so much degeneracy within today's society, even behind the fake nice and the fake good woke movement that people so blindly follow. And as a form of protection, I'm cutting out 2, 4, 6, 8, no more than 12 connections from this video, because they are genuine truth seekers. And they are currently, like I said, seeking after the gospel word itself, along with presence of the Lord via the Holy Spirit, that so happens to be omnipresent and gifted unto all, not just sinners, but all. And there it is, people. So be warned, you know, this isn't something to laugh and joke about, because like I said, you don't know who you're welcoming within your house. And I'm referring to the flesh, the vessel, the temple for a house, as well as material house. You don't know who you're welcoming in, or what it is you're welcoming in. With the afterlife and the spiritual realm around us, this is how it goes, right? You have a 50-50% chance on getting it right. Because even behind highly convincing communications with another said spiritual being from, like I said, either the grave or the afterlife, you don't know whether that is actually in fact either one or a dozen fallen angels mimicking the soul of a deceased loved one. It gets you thinking. So just be careful, and like I said, be warned. When getting into this, work as you will. Take the King James Bible, pray immensely, as though your souls depend on it before communication happens. And just be careful, because like I said, for the last and final time, as I don't want to sound like a scratched record, you don't know who you're letting in, or who you're welcoming into the vessel, the temple for a home, and the material possession for a home either. Truth be told.